to the locker room on this Feel Good Friday. Yes, time for us to talk sports, let you know the latest updates in the world of sports, football, tennis, Formula One, hey, you name it. And of course, I will not be doing this alone. I never do this alone. And joining me in the locker room this morning, bubbling and raring to go with all the energy that she can muster, Tega is here.
Good morning, everybody. How was your holiday?
Busy.
I'm not asking you. The people that I'm asking are different. Because we only ask people that used to give us RAM. That's what we want. So, good morning, everybody else, apart from Ayo and my producer. Everybody else that has friends that bring meat. For Ayo and my producer, our friendship is over. But for the rest of you, how are you doing?
Wow.
Hope you are doing great. There's drama again. NFF drama as usual. There's always wahala in the glass house. And actually the house that shouldn't be throwing stones, but they always have problems.
What is the NFF without drama?
What is the NFF without drama? Yes. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be touching a little on the Austrian Grand Prix that's taking place this Sunday, and then we'll be talking about your transfers. Manchester United. How happy are you that you got a certain young English lad? We'll be talking about all of that and more in the locker room. But before we do that, Ayo, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room?
All right, you can be a part of the locker room this morning by sending your messages to us via WhatsApp on 0809 440 981. And we are also streaming live on YouTube. Yes, that is right, at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. So join the live stream. We love when you are a part of proceedings. All right, Tega, let me
start with the headlines.
That's right. All right, so Waldrum bemoans Super Falcons preparation for 2023 World Cup. What else is new? Iga Swiatek reaches semi-finals on grass for first time at Bad Homburg Open. Verstappen hits back at Hamilton over Red Bull domination. Benjamin Mendy Benjamin Mendy said he slept with 10,000 women as court hears case. Messi and Busquets not moving to Miami for a holiday, says Tata Martino. Mourinho handed 2-match Serie A ban for referee rant.
What else is new?
Yeah, what else is new there as well? Manchester United agreed deal for Mason Mount from Chelsea, that's according to reports. And they will fight co-hosts New Zealand name squad for Women's World Cup.
Yes, so those are the stories we'll be touching on. You know that the Women's World Cup is coming up starting the 20th of July to the 20th of August. So 1 month of ecstatic women's football. You don't want to miss out on that one. So we'll be talking about New Zealand co-host. Australia has a pretty much good team. Well, they have a star player that everybody knows their name, especially if you follow English football, Samantha Kerr. So everybody will be hoping that, and they are in our group. Chai. Why do we have to play the host? Even if the people on the pitch are not doing well, the crowd will call. You know how loud Australians can be.
They will collect.
They will collect. All right. But New Zealand, they're a little more tempered, a little more lower down the scale. I think Australia is 10th in the world. New Zealand is far behind.
Yeah,
but so they're saying that, you know what, we are going to fight, and they could put up a good fight, seeing as they're going to be playing at home for the most part. So let's see how it works out for the New Zealanders. But first, let's start with our troubles in Nigeria.
Yes, they say charity begins at home. Now, the Super Falcons coach Randy Waldrum has bemoaned his team's preparation for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. He said that he knows that we are not prepared the way that we need to be.
So this man. Oh, I wanted to play that thing, but you may not. A lot of people will not understand what he's saying. Maybe because of his accent and the way he was talking. But basically, he came out with a full rant, and it may also act as a preparation for failure. You know, now
was it similar to Antonio Conte?
I think this one was a full podcast. So he sat down, thought through the matter, and then decided to deliver. So he started with the fact that, you know, first of all, the preparation for Nigeria. He started talking about how, number one, the team that he wanted to select, how they wanted to force him to pick an under-20 goalkeeper that he didn't know about, which is tricky because he picked some under-20 players from the under-20 team. So if you knew the under 20 team, how did you not know the under 20 goalkeeper? Anyway, he complained about that. And the NFF was battling that with the fact that one of the goalkeepers that he picked here one day is actually a goalkeeper trainer. Who hadn't played football in a while before you now chose her to the team. So if your argument for dropping Okobi is that she hasn't featured well in other teams, then you shouldn't be having Yewande or Onomebi on your team because so he's fighting himself with all these choices. So he had that complaint about the goalkeeper. Then he complained that he was supposed to hold camp in Nigeria. Now I had heard, because I follow the Super Falcons closely, that the Super Falcons were supposed to open camp in Nigeria on the 10th for home-based players. Then on the 20th everybody comes back, and then they leave on the 2nd to Australia so that they have time to acclimatize and all for the final camp. None of that happened, as you can tell. No camp was held in Nigeria. So usually all the usual razzmatazz, the training, the media day, the brands looking out to players and trying to sponsor the team. None of that happened because, like I said, you can't sponsor who you can't see. I mean, do you ever pay market for the product that you have not seen? So none of all that drama happened. So not a lot of buzz, going on. And you want to say, oh, the media should give you buzz, but the media needs content. And the content is scattered all over Europe and America. What are we going to do with that?
I don't get it.
So he was not complaining that he was supposed to hold that. Then the NFF said they shouldn't hold it. Now the NFF on their part said that when Randy came to them, Randy said he wanted to hold camp for home-based players in Nigeria for 10 to 15 days. Now they're saying to hold camp in Nigeria, we have to pay for accommodation, pay for feeding, pay for healthcare, transportation for those 15 days. At the end of the day, because they are home-based players, you will not pick, because he doesn't like to take home-based players. He barely takes home-based players. And even if he picks, he'll pick one or two that will not even feature. So should we accrue all that costs?
All those
expenses for 15 days? For people that you will not choose from. That it didn't make any sense. Now, my argument with the NFF is that you are the NFF. Basically, you are the one that strategizes the plans for the football in Nigeria. So, there is a World Cup going to happen. Don't you assemble your team in the country?
First of all,
you assemble your team in the country for the camp. So the coach doesn't have to tell you all of this. You know that there's going to be a camp in Nigeria before they go out to Australia, and more particularly because they're looking for sponsors. So it's from that camp that we can say, okay, the Super Falcons are in camp, sponsors, brands, come and see the product that we have. Come and sponsor them. They're going to the World Cup. Those that will be sponsoring for World Cup will sponsor for World Cup. Those that will be sponsoring for a long-term contract will sponsor for long-term contract. Those that want to even sponsor individuals will sponsor individuals. None of that happened. NFF had no preparation for the Super Falcons to stay in Nigeria. They had no preparation for the Super Falcons training. They had no preparation to look for sponsors. You can't just go and tell people to give you money. Give you money for what? These are businesses. It's give and take. The only thing you're going to give them back is publicity or charity. You are not giving them. They can't see the individual they're putting the money on. So at the end of the day, NFF didn't do their work. Randy didn't do their work. But now, in order to prepare themselves for the display, whatever display they're going to give in Australia, they are now giving excuses. NFF is saying Randy's fault. Randy is saying NFF's fault. So at the end of the day, you know how it is. The two elephants are fighting. It's the Super Falcons that will suffer. Because it's ridiculous. So, in fact, I've even come to realize for the first match, we're not going to have Rashida Tajibade. We're not going to have Ayinde. Because of they were suspended at the AFCON. And, because at the AFCON, AFCON was a qualifier for the World Cup. So it counts towards the World Cup. Normally, it won't count because it's CAF. But it counts towards the World Cup because it was a qualifier for the World Cup. So they'll be suspended for those matches. So who is our creativity?
Tega, so before we move to the next story, we've known about this World Cup for how many years?
In the past 4 years.
4 years. I will not say any more than that. All right, let's move on really quickly from our travails here.
It's not travails.
In the NFF. Let's talk tennis, where world number one Iga has reached the semifinals of a WTA tall grass court event for the very first time.
Yes, so here's what's shocking. So the most followed and the favorite players on both sides of the tour. For the men, it's Carlos Alcaraz. For the women, it's Iga Swiatek. Both are exciting propositions. Both of them struggle on grass, and I would say this is because it's still early in their career. They haven't yet adapted to it. So we saw Carlos Alcaraz win a tournament on the men's side. So Iga Swiatek is trying to win her own tournament on the women's side, and it's one of her least favorite surfaces. Well, let me not call it least favorite because she enjoys playing tennis regardless of where, but it's one of the surfaces that she hasn't performed so well at. And so she's trying to build up towards Wimbledon. So she was very excited, to be able to come through and make it through to the semi-finals. She's like she said after the match, I'm no expert on grass yet, but I'm glad that every day I'm getting better. And that's the attitude you have to have as a person for anything in life, but even more so for her building up to the World Cup. So fantastic result for her on that end, getting through. On the other side in Eastbourne, Coco Gauff beat her doubles partner, Jessica Pegula. Yes. 6-3, 6-3 to move to the semi-final. It was the most ridiculous thing, so both of them are friends. Both of them usually when they play together, they're high-fiving each other. Now they have to stay on opposite sides of the net and try to outsmart each other.
Somebody has to win.
Somebody has to win, and then you could see them when something happens. Pegula look at Coco, I told you I struggle with this. It was an unspoken communication. It was the weirdest thing. But at the end of the match, it was Coco Gauff that came out tops. She moved through to the semi-finals. But for Pegula, one of two things. Yes, Coco Gauff was able to read her, but she also had real struggles with most of her strengths, her serves and her forehands. And so she can also say that maybe it was just a bad day at the office.
Just about there at the office. Let me take a message really quickly here from WhatsApp. This is from Tayo. Tayo says, so in essence, we are not ready for the World Cup because it's only Osimhen that is giving us content.
Thank you.
My own is that US women team shouldn't win the tournaments. Their pride has pride.
Hey, so you think that US women, they were bad, then New Zealand decided to do their own. So when they announced their 23 players, it was now the past players that were giving the new player. I was just like, which kind of unnecessary shakara people would be like this?
Showmanship.
But that is the content.
That is the content. That's what people want to see.
All right, let's take the second message
The second message is from Paolo. Paolo says, good morning. The Super Falcons assistant coach was removed from the tour. Is it true, and why?
Yes. So now this is part of the reason why Randy actually came out to complain. So he was saying that they're forcing him to take that home goalkeeper. And when he didn't take the home goalkeeper, they now said that they couldn't sponsor Lauren, who is his assistant, which is why he said that they ran in the first place. So the thing is, remember when they said Super Eagles assistant coaches were fired? It wasn't that they were fired. It's just that they don't have enough money to take everybody at once. So for some tournaments, and that's the excuse. And notice I'm doing apostrophe if you're watching on YouTube. That's the excuse that the NFF is giving, that it's unnecessary cost to accrue, so they're not taking the assistant. And I think that's what really prompted Randy to get angry. That he cannot go with his assistant coach. And it's strange because him as a man and he has the assistant coach as a lady. I know people say, gender shouldn't matter, they should just play football. It does. It does.
At the end of the day?
At the end of the day, ultimately. And so he would have that person standing in the gap to, liaise between himself and the players. Now he doesn't have that person. Well, he may have to trust his Nigerian counterpart, which is what he didn't really want to do before.
All right. So Paulo further says, the NFF has a constant habit of not respecting our glorious women in football and national team. The bad mistake is there since they employed this coach. All right, thank you, Paulo, for your message. You're in the locker room on Smooth 98.1. The show continues shortly. Do you stay with us?
Wow, we did only 2 stories because of Super Falcons. It is cold! It is cold! Oh, you gotta bring my jacket. My jacket.
NFF.
I didn't know, and I wore shorts. It's cold, always cold in this studio. Kilo day. Let me even zip up. Good.
You're never sure what you miss when you come.
You know?
I always leave this one in my locker. I can't deal with cold. I just can't.
I wait till this one on that last chair. It's no longer her chair anyway, but.
Oh, why is the NFF like this? I don't get it.
This NFF is even bad. This new board is very bad. It's very bad. They haven't done anything. It should be see, I think I'm going to vex and vie for a position.
Like
vie for a position. Yes.
It's like they have no idea what to do.
They have so you know that the World Cup is happening. Just do things around the World Cup. Not everything will go. So first of all, bringing the girls back, you have to bring all the girls back. Because every country will now be sending off their team, in style. Nigeria,
in their tracksuit or their suits.
Do you understand? Remember how we sent off the Super Eagles? Because all of it is part of that thing that people buy into. It was very easy when Nike really sold out with the Super Eagles. It was very easy for other brands to buy into that because they're like, see engagement everywhere.
Yes, no, there was something tangible.
Do you understand? There's no engagement. What do you want to collect money for?
All right, welcome back into the locker room on Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1 with me, Ayokunmi Kekere-Ekun. And of course, Tega is with me talking all the sports stories and everything that you need to know. All right, Cruz on WhatsApp says, Ayo, you need to start providing hot chicken pepper soup for Tega.
I'm always good, right? I'm always good.
Cruz, I resemble chef.
Please,
please.
Ordinary meat you couldn't give us. You're not talking pepper soup.
Tega, we're saying A, you are saying B.
No, I must cast you.
Let's
this one,
focus.
I will cast you. All right, let's focus on our focus. All right, so remember to send us your WhatsApp messages.
That's right. 0809 444 0981 is the number to send messages to. And we are still streaming live on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Tega, let's talk Formula One, where Max Verstappen reminded old foe Lewis Hamilton that life is unfair after Mercedes' 7-time world champion suggested Formula One needed a rule change to rein in Red Bull. Is Hamilton just, being sore about this, or does he have?
Is that why he stole his championship? Because life is unfair. Nonsense. Anyway, life is unfair, so you stole a championship, my friend. So basically, what Lewis was saying was that first of all, ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix, remember Red Bull has won every single race this season. No other constructor has won it. Their dominance is clear. They are far ahead. And Hamilton is just saying that, look, even if we manage to catch up towards the end, they would have started producing for the new rule changes in 2024. So they are still going to be ahead of other people, and it doesn't seem fair. So what it should be is that what the FIA should do is that the FIA should say, you can only start redeveloping for your next new car from, maybe give a date, maybe from August 1st. You can start developing. Before that, you don't do any development. That's the only way that it will be fair on everybody, so that everybody starts at the same time. But what it is that Red Bull can afford to start now, to start developing for 2024. Because they're so far ahead.
But Tega, is it Red Bull's fault that every other team cannot begin their own preparations for the next season?
No, it's not. But again, they have a clear advantage based on the rule change. And the rule change, in as much as it's not Red Bull that made the rule change, is the FIA. So they're saying, let all of us start at the same time. Now, I understand why it can be ridiculous, because Mercedes had their own dominance for 8 years. And Lewis Hamilton was beneficiary of that dominance.
Would he be saying the same thing if Mercedes were in this position right now?
However, when Mercedes were dominating, they were not that far ahead. They still had the time where Ferrari was close. They still had the time where Red Bull was close, even when Red Bull stole a champ. When Red Bull won a championship controversially, that's the right phrase to use. They were close. But this Red Bull dominance, nobody's catching them. Let me put it this way. They are flying, other people are crawling.
What? Flying and crawling?
So it's two different things.
That's a wide gap.
So yeah, then Verstappen's only answer is life is unfair. That's just to show you that this thing is not, you can't articulate the gap. So he didn't come out and say, we started at the same time, or no, he just said life is unfair. There's nothing I can do about it.
Fingers are not equal,
you know,
as they say.
All right. So let's see this weekend. I think again, Red Bull are still going to win it. So it begs the question: why did you do all that drama claiming that F1 was boring because Mercedes was winning, only for us to get an even worse dominance by Red Bull? All right.
Red Bull said, "Hold my drink." That's what they did. All right, let's move to the Premier League and talk football. Now, Manchester City footballer Benjamin Mendy, and I'm quoting here, raped a young woman, then told her, "It's fine, I've slept with 10,000 women." That's according to what a jury has heard. Now, the 20-year-old is accused of attacking the woman, aged 24, at that time at his £4 million mansion in Mottram, St Andrew, Cheshire, in October 2020.
Yeah, he was cleared of this case before because he said the evidence was not conclusive, and so people were like, "He's innocent, he's innocent." I was like, no, not guilty not guilty in the court of law doesn't necessarily mean that you are innocent. It just means that they couldn't prove that you were guilty. Anyway, this case is back, and you have to understand that this is second-hand reports. So a lot of news outlets had reported, and I fell to that headline, that he said he'd slept with 10,000 women. But it wasn't him saying it. It was the woman saying that after he raped her, according to her story, he said that she shouldn't worry, he slept with 10,000 women. So this is a third-hand report. This is not Benjamin Mendy himself saying this is what he did. What if he did sleep with 10,000 women? What time was he using to play football? Perhaps now we know why he couldn't cross. The activity of the pitch was even more.
Tega, leave the studio.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy though. Monday has the counts against him. At some point, I think it was 9. Now it's 5. It's ridiculous, and
it's beyond ridiculous.
I do remember the time he was caught during COVID. You know, he told an agency, and that's why I did not doubt the number, because he told an agency during COVID that the agency should bring 2. He actually mentioned, he was specific down to everything. He said he wanted 2 Latino girls with big that are well endowed front and back. He described it that's what he wanted, and he made sure he wanted them to know that he wanted Latino girls. You know, so I was just like, I don't know what to think.
Well, I don't know. Can we say that Benjamin Mendy has a problem? Because I mean, you're a footballer, you're playing at the highest level, you're earning a whole lot of money. You have virtually everything at your fingertips.
Maybe that's why he lost his mind. Remember when Mourinho used to say that if you want role models, footballers are not the ones that should be your role models. That these guys do the most. I mean, they do the most ridiculous things. Think about it. These guys probably, you know, a lot of footballers, a lot of athletes probably do not have any other thing that would have made them wealthy but playing a sport. Then they came into wealth. They will try to recreate all the fantasies they have, however ridiculous the fantasies are.
That is
that is madness.
That is madness. Absolute madness.
All right.
Tayo has sent messages and said Hamilton has become a critic rather than a driver. Higher power take the wheel, because I can't for the life of me understand this complaint when he was ahead. Now, Mendy the conqueror, the lion, the champion is here. This guy must have skipped training to do the deed, but all the money they are quoting is just ridiculous. And then it says it's an addiction if true.
Well, if true is an addiction, then again, it may just be his face. So, I mean, I've heard ridiculous things about footballers I don't even want to recount.
All right, let's head over to the MLS, where newly appointed Inter Miami coach Gerardo Martino says there is no question of Lionel Messi and Sergio Busquets moving to South Florida to chill on South Beach. Now, Tega, Inter Miami, not in a great position right now. Can Messi and Busquets and Martino turn things around? I
think that's what Beckham is getting them for. Seeing, bringing Lionel Messi in, bringing Sergio Busquets in. That's not the end of their buy. He brought in Tata Martino. Now, the thing about Tata Martino is that he wasn't successful when he had Messi at Barcelona. He had Messi and Busquets at Barcelona. Let me tell you how bad Tata Martino was. Barcelona won the La Liga with their head coach in the hospital. But Tata Martino couldn't win anything. That's how bad he was.
Maybe you're just in the wrong place. Maybe
this place is now right.
It could be.
All right.
Unlock potential.
But you see, he has European experience. Let's hope that translates to help him in America. I understand what he means by, they're not going to the beach, they're not going to retire, they're not going to the beach just chill. They're actually going to do some work, and he's trying to make some changes for Inter Miami. We wait to see how this really delivers on the pitch, but I can tell you for free, the MLS is not anywhere near as intense as Europe. There's a reason why players are going there to retire. I rest my case. All right, let's read the next story.
All right, let's come back to Europe, where Jose Mourinho will miss the opening 2 matches of the Serie A season after Italy's Football Federation handed the Roma coach a 10-day ban for calling a referee the worst he had ever seen.
I know.
Classic Jose.
At this point in time, Jose Mourinho should just, just have days, or they should not give him vacation, because he's going to vacation with a suspension every time. So he's going to miss 2 matches when the season starts in August. He's also going to miss the matches from Europa. Because of the Anthony Taylor ban. At this point in time, somebody should just gag Jose Mourinho immediately after a match.
He can't be gagged.
No, immediately after a match, I think they should designate someone to speak to the press.
And you think Jose will not barge in there and
speak his mind?
Will you stand up?
He can go and rant on his social media. But they should put it in his contract. Cannot speak to the press. That's what they should do in his contract.
Well, only that, because I know Jose doesn't play with his money.
Exactly. So just put in his contract, must not speak to the press. Let somebody else handle it. But what it is that, he's been suspended again.
I'm glad you said again, because I was going to say not for the first time.
Abby, let's take the next story first, and let's talk to some Manchester United fans.
Yes, for Manchester United, they have reached an agreement to sign midfielder Mason Mount from Chelsea on a 5-year deal. The Athletic reported on Thursday.
All right, so I was going to ask, so Manchester United fans, what do you think about this deal? Yeah, Manchester United fans, what do you think about this deal? Is it a good deal? Is Mason Mount a good buy for Manchester United?
Well, I mean, he's still 24, and I want to believe that Erik ten Hag has a reason for wanting to bring him in, despite the fee. 24-year-old, £55 million, £5 million in add-ons, even with a 1 year left on his current contract. But of course, English tax must always be paid. I don't want to jump too much about this, because I think there are other areas in that team that need to be dealt with. But hey, if it turns out to be a fantastic player for Erik ten Hag, why not? I'm not going to complain.
So you don't know that he's going to be a fantastic player,
I'm on the fence.
Yeah, on the fence. All right, so Manchester United, are you on the fence, or what do you think? Manchester United fans, send us a message to
0809 444 0981.
Let's hear your thoughts about what you think about Mason Mount moving to Manchester United. Was it a good buy, or it's just there? All right, so let's take Emeka's message first.
Emeka says 10,000 women, Guinness World Record should just give him his trophy. Even King Solomon must be jealous. Tayo says there's no loyalty in football. It's all business. Congrats, Ayo, on the new signing. Tayo, are you trying to whine me? Because I don't understand what that congrats is for.
No, that's what we want to find out. Is Mason Mount a good buy for Manchester United? Because in all my view of Manchester United, I didn't see why they should buy Mason Mount.
Like I said, for me, I feel there are other areas in that team.
I think when you finish buying the necessary positions, and then Mason Mount is hovering around the area, you'll be like, okay, come. And not for 55 million.
I mean, we still don't know what's happening with the whole David De Gea situation.
Yeah.
There is no striker in the team. So, well.
All right. So we'll take your thoughts. We're already out of time. We'll take your thoughts maybe on Monday, when we can dissect more about the transfers. We also know that there are transfers happening over the weekend. Tottenham Hotspur have done their own buys. I think they are also raiding Leicester City. Like I said, yes. Leicester City is where you
James
should
Maddison.
Yeah, James Maddison. And Harry Winks is going to Leicester City when everybody is being bought away from Leicester City. Anyway, we'll talk about all those transfers when we come back on Monday. But for now, Thank you for staying tuned to us. Thank you for your messages. And thank you for watching us on YouTube. Let's leave the studio on a Feel Good Friday for Ayo without the meat.
All right, Tega, I will disregard that last statement. It was good to have you on the locker room as always. And thank you to all our listeners, of course, for listening in and sending in messages. In about 15 minutes, Lagos, we're going to get talking on Lagos Talks. Stay with us, don't go anywhere, and keep listening to Smooth 98.1.